The descent begins not with a sound, but with the fading of the light. As the submersible slips beneath the waves, the chaotic blue of the surface world retreats, replaced by a deepening twilight that eventually surrenders to the absolute, crushing black of the midnight zone. Here, 3,000 meters down, the ocean is a place of silence and terrifying pressure, a world where humanity was never meant to tread. The temperature hovers just above freezing, and the weight of the water above is enough to pulverize steel. Yet in this hostile void, something moves. It does not swim with the frantic energy of a fish or the pulsing jet of a squid. It drifts, a ghostly monolith of gelatinous flesh, shimmering with an impossible hypnotic light. This is the comb jelly rainbow maw entity, a creature so alien, so ancient, and so visually arresting that it challenges our very understanding of life on Earth. Imagine the darkness outside the thick acrylic viewport of a deep-sea rover. The pilot's floodlights cut through the marine snow, the ceaseless falling debris of dead plankton that feeds the abyss. Suddenly, the beam catches a glint. It isn't the cold blue of bioluminescence that usually dots the deep, but a sudden, violent flash of neon pink, electric green, and burning violet. It looks like a glitch in reality, a disco ball spinning in a graveyard. The creature materializes from the gloom, vast and translucent, a pulsating sack of life that seems to be made of nothing more than water and light. It is a comb jelly, a ctenophore, but of a size and configuration that defies the textbooks. This is the rainbow maw, a predator that has prowled these depths since before the first dinosaur drew breath, a silent witness to the rise and fall of epochs, surviving in a world of crushing darkness by becoming the light itself. To understand the horror and the beauty of the rainbow maw, we must first understand its lineage. Scientists have long debated the origins of the animal kingdom, but recent genetic evidence suggests that the ctenophores, the family to which our rainbow maw belongs, are the sisters to all other animals. They are the aliens of our own planet, a branch of life that split off from the rest of us over 500 million years ago, perhaps even before the sponges. While we, the vertebrates, along with insects and mollusks, evolved one way, the comb jellies evolved another. They developed a nervous system completely unique to them, using different chemicals and structures than any other animal. If you were to look at the rainbow maw and call it an alien, you wouldn't be far from the truth. It is an organism that figured out how to build a brain and a body using a completely different instruction manual than the rest of life on Earth. The rainbow in its name is a deception, a trick of physics that is as beautiful as it is deadly. The creature does not produce this kaleidoscope of colors through chemical glowing, like the fireflies of the surface or the anglerfish of the deep. Instead, the rainbow maw is covered in 8 rows of tiny hair-like structures called cilia, fused into plates that act like paddles. These are the combs. As the creature moves, these combs beat rhythmically, thousands of times a minute, propelling it through the water with a silence that mechanical engines can only dream of. But these moving combs do something else. They diffract the scant light, splitting it into its component spectrums like millions of living prisms. In the pitch black of the abyss, caught in the beam of a submersible, this diffraction creates a rolling wave of rainbow light that travels down the creature's body. It is a hypnotic display, a ribbon of spectral fire ripple traveling on a ghost. But in the natural darkness, without the artificial lights of humans, this rainbow is invisible. There, the creature is a shadow, a disturbance in the water, a phantom waiting to feed. And when it feeds, the maw earns its name. The rainbow maw entity is not a passive filter feeder, drifting aimlessly and hoping for a meal. It is a voracious, insatiable hunter. Its body is essentially one giant mouth, a cavernous sac that can unzip to swallow nearly as large as itself. Unlike jellyfish, which sting their prey into submission, the rainbow maw uses a different, more insidious weapon. Its tentacles are lined not with stinging cells, but with colloblasts, cells that burst on contact to release a glue so strong it is nearly impossible to escape. Imagine brushing against a drifting thread in the dark, only to find yourself instantly adhered to it. You struggle, but the more you fight, the more the glue binds you. Then the maw opens. The creature can manipulate its body shape, expanding its oral cavity into a gaping tunnel. It surges forward, engulfing the trapped prey whole, sealing it inside a stomach that is visible from the outside. In the transparency of the deep sea, there is no privacy. A digested meal is on display for all to see, a dark lump slowly dissolving inside the shimmering rainbow cage of the predator's body. The environment this entity calls home is one of the most extreme on the planet. The pressure at these depths is equivalent to having a large elephant stand on your thumb. For a human, this would be instant death, our lungs collapsing, our nitrogen-filled blood turning to poison. But the rainbow maw has no air spaces to crush. It is made almost entirely of water and gelatinous material, its internal pressure perfectly equalized with the crushing weight outside. This adaptation, however, comes with a curse. Its structure of its body is held together not just by biology, but by the pressure itself. Its cell membranes are reinforced with specialized fats that require the crushing weight of the deep ocean to maintain their shape. If a research expedition were to bring a rainbow maw to the surface, the lack of pressure would cause it to disintegrate, literally melting into a shapeless puddle of goo before it even reached the deck of the ship. This is why the rainbow maw remains a ghost. It cannot be captured. It cannot be kept in an aquarium. It can only be visited, a prisoner of the abyss, and we, the fleeting tourists. The sheer scale of the rainbow maw entity is what sets it apart from its smaller, thumbnail-sized cousins found in surface waters. In the deep ocean, a phenomenon known as abyssal gigantism takes hold. Freed from the constraints of gravity and abundant with the slow, efficient metabolism required by the cold, creatures here grow to monstrous proportions. Submersible pilots have reported sightings of comb jellies the size of footballs, drifting like silent spaceships. But the entity, this specific, elusive legend of the deep, is rumored to be far larger. Tales whispered in research vessel galleys speak of a shimmering wall of light, a maw wide enough to swallow a man whole, a creature that doesn't just drift but watches. These accounts describe the entity moving with a deliberate, predatory intelligence, circling the submersibles, its rainbow cilia pulsing with a rhythm that feels almost communicative, or perhaps threatening. One of the most chilling aspects of the rainbow maw is its invisibility to the local inhabitants. In the deep sea, many creatures have evolved to see only blue light, the only color that penetrates this far down. The color red, for instance, is invisible here. It appears simply as black. Many deep-sea ctenophores have evolved dark red guts specifically to hide the glowing, bioluminescent prey they eat. If they were transparent, the glowing prey inside their stomachs would light them up like a lantern, advertising their location to larger predators. The rainbow maw, with its deep red or purple internal pigmentation, becomes a void within the void. To the fish and shrimp of the abyss, it is not there. It is a hole in the water, a patch of nothingness that suddenly becomes a mouth. The first warning a prey animal gets is the sticky touch of the collarblasts, and by then it is already too late. The scientific community is engaged in a frantic race to understand these creatures before the ocean changes forever. The deep sea is not immune to the impacts of the surface. Microplastics have been found in the guts of creatures living in the Mariana Trench, and rising ocean temperatures are disrupting the delicate flow of nutrients that drift down from above. We know so little about the rainbow maw. How long does it live? Some simple jellies are biologically immortal, reverting to a juvenile state when stressed, only to grow again. Could the rainbow maw be ageless? Could the entity that drifts past a camera lens today be the same individual that drifted past the thermal vents 1,000 years ago? The lack of a hard skeleton means ctenophores leave no fossils. Their history is written only in their DNA, a code we are just beginning to decipher. Every encounter is precious, a fleeting glimpse into a biology that has survived 5 mass extinctions. Imagine the experience of the scientists sitting in the control room of a research vessel, staring at the monitors fed by a remotely operated vehicle, ROV, miles below. The tension is palpable. The ROV's tether is the only lifeline to the surface world. On the screen, the darkness is absolute, broken only by the cone of artificial light. Then the sensors pick up a disturbance. The water density changes, the sonar pings off something soft but massive, and then it enters the frame. The rainbow maw. It is majestic and terrifying, a cathedral of soft tissue. The rainbows ripple frantically along its sides as it adjusts to the current of the thrusters. It rotates, revealing the cavernous opening of its oral lobes. It is a moment of profound connection, 2 apex species of their respective domains, the primate and the gelatinous hunter, meeting through the digital glass. The scientists scramble to record, to measure, to laser scale the beast, knowing that at any moment it could flick its cilia and vanish back into the eternal night. The existence of the rainbow maw challenges our human-centric view of the world. We tend to think of intelligence and complexity as requiring a spine, a skull, a brain like ours. But the rainbow maw navigates a 3-dimensional void of infinite blackness, hunts evasive prey, finds mates, and survives pressures that would turn a tank into scrap metal, all without a single bone or a brain in the traditional sense. It uses a decentralized nerve net, a web of neurons spread throughout its body. It thinks with its skin. It sees with sensory structures that taste the water for chemical trails. It is a distributed consciousness, a living network that is perfectly adapted to a world where we are the aliens. When we look at the rainbow maw, we are looking at an alternative path evolution could have taken, a glimpse of what life might look like on the moons of Jupiter or Saturn, hidden beneath miles of ice in dark, subsurface oceans. There is a theory among some marine biologists that the ctenophores are not just survivors, but the future. As the oceans acidify and oxygen levels in some areas drop, fish and other vertebrates struggle, but the jellies thrive. They are the weeds of the sea, resilient and adaptable. The rainbow maw in its deep stronghold is safe from the immediate turmoil of the surface, but its domain is expanding. In a way, the rise of the jellies is a return to the ancient order, a rollback to the Precambrian seas where gelatinous life ruled supreme. The rainbow maw is not a relic, it is a king in waiting. Its shimmering rainbow display is not a remnant of the past, but a banner of its enduring dominance. The sensory world of the rainbow maw is one of vibrations and chemical gradients. It does not see the world as we do, it feels it. The slightest struggle of a copepod 50 feet away sends a ripple through the water that the maw detects instantly. It can taste the fear in the water, sensing the chemical excretions of stressed prey. It moves with a terrifying grace, pivoting and sliding through the water column. When it detects a threat, it can reverse its cilia, swimming backward with equal speed, or it can dump its internal water volume to sink rapidly like a stone. Some species of deep-sea comb jellies can even produce a blinding flash of bioluminescent ink to disorient predators, a burglar alarm that screams in the darkness, leaving the attacker blinded while the maw slips away into the shadows. There are legends, too, of what happens when the rainbow maw gathers. While usually solitary, ctenophores can form massive blooms, millions of individuals congregating in a dense soup of life. A bloom of rainbow maws in the deep sea would be a sight of unparalleled wonder and horror, a galaxy of pulsating, rainbow-flashing entities filling the void, a living minefield of sticky tentacles and gaping mouths. Such an event has never been filmed, but sonar scans of the deep scattering layer, the mass of animals that rises and falls in the ocean daily, suggest that gelatinous creatures make up a far larger portion of the deep-sea biomass than we ever imagined. The rainbow maw is not an anomaly. It is likely one of the dominant life forms of our planet, hidden simply because we lack the eyes to see it. As we continue to map the ocean floor, we are finding that the abyss is not a barren desert, but a thriving metropolis of the strange. The rainbow maw entity serves as an ambassador for this hidden world. It reminds us that on a planet covered 70% by water, we are the minority. The land is just a small, dry island in a world of ocean. The real Earth is down there, in the cold and the dark, where creatures like the rainbow maw glide through the eternal night, flashing their impossible colors to an audience of none. They were here long before we crawled out of the mud, and in all likelihood, they will be drifting through the dark long after we are gone. We are left with a lingering sense of unease and wonder. What else is down there? If a creature as magnificent and bizarre as the rainbow maw can remain largely a mystery to us, hiding in the plain sight of the open ocean, what other monsters lurk in the trenches? The ocean is deep, and our lights only penetrate a fraction of the darkness. The rainbow maw is a beautiful, terrifying reminder of the limits of our knowledge. It is a ghost in the machine of the ocean, a spectral hunter that defies our categories and captures our imagination. So the next time you look out at the seemingly empty expanse of the sea, remember the rainbow maw. Remember that beneath the waves, in the crushing silence of the deep, the darkness is alive, and it is watching, shimmering with the colors of a rainbow that the sun will never see.